Welcome back to the channel, guys, and today I'm going to be showing you step by step how to make a easy shirt. I'll be providing this character and animation, but we're going to make a very simple shirt, and you can put any logo or image you want on here. I'm going to show you how simple it is. The really cool thing about this, once you have it, you can always go to your shading and you can take your image and swap it out with any other image that you want. And that way you have a way of having a model ready to go. And if you want to test out different logo designs on a shirt, you have this kind of as a ready-made file. So I'm going to show you step by step how to do this. It's really fun. And I think we're going to have this really kind of nice simulation result with the shirt. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this. Let's make a shirt simulation and add a logo. So if you want a free model to follow along with, you can go to the description below, and I've got a link to my Gumroad page, and this is just a character that I put together. It's a rigged and a T-pose and it's slightly animated. So yeah, you can download it for free by putting in $0 and then, you know, open it up, or you can use your own character or setup. So I have that one on my desktop, so I'm going to go ahead and run it. And what we're going to do with our T-posed character, if you're following along with the blend file I'm providing, you're just going to come to frame 1. In your own kind of animation, it might be set up differently, because you can see here if you drag for the timeline that it slightly animates the arms go down. So just so we can kind of start in a T-pose and then finish off in kind of a relaxed pose, and our T-shirt will kind of simulate along. So we're going to go to frame 1. And just so you guys can see what keys I'm pressing, I'll enable my screencast keys, which is an add-on that I have. So you can see over here, I'm pressing the keys. And we want to make sure that our 3D cursor is in the center. I'm going to go Shift A, we're going to go to our mesh options and add in a plane. And with this plane, we're going to go G, Z and move it up to kind of the middle of the abdomen. And then what you're going to do, you're going to tab into edit mode. And with everything active, so you can press A if it's not, you're going to go RX90 and you're going to press enter. And then in your right orthographic view, you're just going to go G, Y and move it forward like so. Just so it's sitting in front of the character here, but we don't want anything kind of sticking through. Okay, pretty cool. So let's now go to our modifiers. Let's go add modifier. Search, let's just type in MIR, get a mirror modifier. Enable the clipping, and then with your edge select option up here, just select the edge here to your left in the front view and go G, X and move it over until it kind of snaps together. And now it's kind of joined together here because we have clipping enabled. So now we only have to model on one side to get started with. So what we're going to do, we're going to enable our X-ray up here, and we're going to actually come here and grab the bottom of this edge, just move it down a bit. And we're going to grab this top edge and we're going to go R to rotate it. Like so. Then we're going to go over here, hovering over this edge, Control R, left click once, and we're going to slide in an edge and just take it up till it's sitting under the armpit, and then left click again to add it in. And then what we're going to do, we're going to select this edge here, we're going to go R to slightly rotate it, G to move it up a little bit, and then we're going to go E to extrude, and extrude to about here, like so. And then we're going to come hovering over this edge or this edge and go Control R, and you're going to see a loop going all the way down. And we're going to double click to add it in. And then let's go to our vertex select option. Let's select this vertex here and go G and move it down just like this. And now we have the basic shape. Now we're just going to grab this edge here or this vertex and just go G to move it down. And we're just making kind of rough squares. And over here, these two sections are too stretched. So we're just going to hover over here, Control R. And once you see the yellow line, you can roll your middle mouse button again, and now you're going to see two yellow lines, and then you can double click. So what you can see here, we have these rough looking squares that are mostly like even. They're not, you don't want anything that's too big or too stretched. So we're just going to maybe grab these and just move them in just a little bit, or we can just press A to select everything and go S just to scale it a little bit, and then G just to move it in. So something like this. We do not want the shirt to be too close to the body because we need a little bit of extra fabric to kind of fold around. But I might just grab these bottom verts here and just go E to extrude and extrude them down just a little bit more. So now we have a basic shirt here. We're going to press A to select everything. We're going to right click and go subdivide. And let's come here to a subdivide tab and let's just bump it up. And we want quite a bit. So we're going to go to a subdivision level of 5, like so. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go E to extrude, and we're going to extrude it all back. And in the right view, you should have it just sitting behind the back. You don't want anything sticking out. And let's come here and turn off the X-ray. And if we come here to our mesh edit mode, we can come here to the normals. And at the moment, a lot of them are facing in. So we need to press A to select everything, and then Alt N. And let's just go recalculate outside. Now it's going to put all those normals in the outside where they should be, pointing the right way. Then in our front view, maybe let's just go back into X-ray quickly. Let's just enable proportional editing. And let's just grab these verts here and just kind of shape them a little bit. And this is completely, extra detail here, but it's just something I'm going to do like that. Make it look a little bit more like a shirt. And I might just grab this and just pull it out just a little bit more. That's about it. And now let's go back into object mode. Let's come here to our mirror and apply it. And now let's go back into edit mode. And I'm going to turn off the X-ray here. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select the opening. So all of these faces in between here, all the way down up to here. And I'm going to go X and delete those faces. And then just going to select the opening in the bottom. So all of these bottom faces, X, and then click on faces to delete them. And then the opening here where the arms are, I'm going to select all of them, X, and delete the faces. And then the same thing here on the side, select these and go X and delete those faces. With all the openings open, we're just going to go into wireframe, and at the top view, just click and drag to select all of these middle edges and go X, and let's go only faces. So because we did only faces this time, it's left the edges here, which is what we want. So now what we can do is we can also press A to select everything. And in our front orthographic, we can go U. So U for unwrap, and then let's go project from view. Now if we go to our UV editing, we can always grab it over here, all these verts, and go S to scale. And later on, we can come and adjust this to get our texture to fit the way we want. But for now, we're gonna go back to our layout. Make sure to save, and now we're going to select our character. We're going to go over to our physics. We're going to give it a collision. And if you go to your modifiers, if you have an armature, you always want to make sure that the collision sits underneath the armature. So the hierarchy here works properly. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Like, you'll have collisions before your armature actually makes any edits to your mesh or modifies it. So make sure that modifier stack order, you pay attention to that. Now we're going to select the shirt. We're going to go over to our physics. We're going to go ahead and give it a cloth. And there's some important things here. We want to scroll down to the shape. We want to come here and enable sewing, and then take the max sewing force, and let's make it 35. And we also want to go down to collisions. And so the cloth can interact with itself, we're going to enable self collision. And then under the distance here, so we don't get any big gaps between the pieces, we can go 0.009 and hit enter. So now make sure to save. And now if you go to frame 1 and we hit the space bar, we can see we have a nice cloth simulation. Nice shirt. Pretty cool. I'm going to just hit the space button just to stop it. I'm going to right click and go shade smooth. And at any point, if you want to, you can go back to frame 1. You can go into edit mode and enable the X-ray or X mirror over here and the X-ray. And if you have to, you can make slight little adjustments until things feel a little bit more like what you're looking for. And then you could just run it again from frame 1. So that's looking pretty good. Okay, I'm going to go with that. That's pretty cool. So I'm going to make sure to save it. Now, the next part is up to you. You can go to the internet, or you can go to Photoshop or GIMP. You can draw out your own logo in a, like, it could be a PNG or JPEG or even a vector graphic. It's completely up to you. But go ahead and grab one. I've already got a few that I found on the internet. So I'm just going to take one that I think looks pretty cool. Yeah, I'll take maybe this one here. It's just this kind of cool logo. And all you have to do now in Blender is you have to go over to your shading workspace, create a new material with the shirt selected, and then you're just going to take this base color and drag on that on the printable. Just drag on it and let go, and type in image, and then go for image texture color. And now we just have to click on open, and then I'm going to go to my desktop where I have that image. You can take which one you want. And now if you press Z and you go material preview, you can see here is your texture. Now what you might have to do is go back to your UV editing, And then over here, press Z and then go material preview. Press A to select everything. And now we can just come here and grab this shirt, S to scale, and just adjust it. So I'm going to scale it up a little bit and move it just like so, just so we can kind of get the logo here. Now, if you are in a situation, by the way, where your logo is repeating, you might have to go into your photo editor and just grab the logo and downsize it so you have more of the surrounding color, like the red, for example, here. Because if I actually took this shirt and I scale it way up, you're gonna see we see this repeating a few times. So you have to just, whatever image you have, always keep that in mind. But for most logos, this should work just fine, especially if you have like a solid color background. You can always in-paint more of that if you wanted to. But I'm gonna leave it at this. I think that looks really cool. And let's go back into our layout. And now what we're gonna do to make this more permanent, or semi-permanent, we're gonna select a cloth. We're gonna go over to our physics. We can go up to the top and take our quality and bump it up to 10. And then let's just go down to the cache, and I'm gonna change this to 100 frames. And then I'm just gonna click on bake, and it's now gonna bake the simulation into our blend file. And there we have it. So now I can drag and get a pose that I like. So I'm gonna go with something like this. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over to my modifiers, add modifier, and I'm gonna go search and get a subdivision surface. And I'm also just gonna come over here to my viewport display and change it here to texture so I can see it in the viewport. And now we can go over to our render settings. We can change it to cycles. If you have a GPU, I recommend you use it. And then under your render samples, we're gonna come here over to the max samples and make it 55. And let's come and find a nice angle. We're gonna go Shift A, we're gonna add in a camera. And then you can just place the camera wherever you want. So I'm gonna go something like this. There we go, focusing on the shirt. And now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go Shift A, we're gonna add in an area light. I like to have one coming off from the side, so I'm just gonna move it up, R to rotate. And give this a strength of 400. And then take the size up by dragging up the size here under the settings. And then I'm gonna go Shift D, duplicate, have another one kind of coming off just from the back here to give us a nice rim lighting. And then Shift D, duplicate, have another one pointing forward. And now if we go into camera view and we go Z and we go rendered, this is what we can see. So this might be a little bit too bright, so I might grab this, just bring it down to 200, the front one, and the one coming from the side, I'll bring it to 200. And then with our shirt material, we just need to go over to our material properties. We need to go over to sheen, and then this is take this weight and drag that up, and that's gonna look a lot better for us. And now if you wanted to, you could, and this is a cool little trick, you can go Shift A, you can add in a cylinder, and just delete the top face and the bottom face. Press A to select everything, go S and scale it way up, like so. And then in your top view, just select half of it and go X and delete those faces. And then in object mode, we can just right click and go shade smooth. And now you can rotate this however you want and place it towards the back. And if you go Shift A and you add in a point light and you place it kind of behind the character and close to this wall over here, you can kind of give it a really high strength. So I'll give it like 1000 and I'll increase the radius. So now if we go Z and we go rendered, we have this nice backlighting. But if we select that cylinder background, we go to our materials and give it a material. And let's say, for example, we make the base color darker. Now we have that nice kind of glow at the back, like so. And I might even just get rid of this area lamp here, or at least just have it coming a little bit more from the back. The idea here is just to give us some nice rim lighting in the back of our shirt. And that's about it. If you wanted to, you could select the shirt and under your modifiers, just go add and search and type in solidify. And then you could always come here and give this a little bit of thickness. There we go. Completely up to you. And at any point you could come to your shading and you can click here and just change under this file here. You can change your type of image. So you can put any texture you want on here. But for now, let's just go render and render image to give this a test render. And there we have it. That is a very simple method of making a shirt in Blender and putting a texture and image on it. I really hope you guys have enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time.